And a very good afternoon everyone. Okay, so for this video we're gonna go through the lecture for the topic real world application. Basically for this topic it is actually the last topic of our PDI unit. Okay, so what we're gonna learn in this topic is the background and the GUI, J option pane, J level and J frame, J text field and J button and J combo box. So basically when we learn all of this, you can create an app. Okay, originally when we use computer, we use command line interface, which is the CLI here. CLI here is a text-based interface where we can input command and then we can interact with the computer's operating system. So remember when we use terminal, right, for our when we learn about terminal, so inside this terminal we input the command and then we ask the computer to do tasks for us. So mostly computer scientists use CLI during the early days when computer exists. So and they think that this is a very good approach for them to use it, but as time goes on, evolution also happened, right? So basically here is where the human beings got involved and everything changed, because the human beings, which is us, actually realized that CLI here might not be good for everyone to use, because when we use CLI, it just involves the terminal, right? We need to put a command, it's just on a black screen, so it's not easy for us as human to use it. So that's why we start to use GUI. So if you look at this image, right, this is basically one of the example of GUI. And for us, instead of using the CLI like this, the black color, we prefer to use the one that has image, that has button, that has colors for us to understand easy what we want to ask the computer to do for us. Okay, so does this mean that the CLI is not useful for us, or does this mean that the CLI is that? Actually no, CLI is a very powerful tool for the computer to perform various tasks on a computer. But if you look at the CLI, we have a few things that we can do with the CLI. Okay, the first one is batch processing. Okay, this is the first one. What they do is run a series of command automatically, without the needing to ask them to do one by one. Or we also can do repeated tasks, so easy to repeat tasks, and here we can save time and also can save effort. Also, what we can do with CLI is we can test our program with different data. So this one can make your program work efficiently. And here this doesn't mean that the CLI is dead, but it just doesn't mean that CLI is dead, but still we can see that by using graphical interface, it will be more easier and save time for us to use it. And this doesn't mean that CLI cannot be useful, but actually CLI is still very useful and widely used. Okay, since we as a human being prefer to use GUI, does this means that GUI is the king or the best interface in the world? Actually, the advantages or the usefulness of GUI and CLI is actually depend on the person itself. So let's say this one, how to know whether GUI is the king, GUI is better than CLI, or CLI is better than the GUI. You should ask the question to the person that want to use it. Okay, let's say the first one, you can ask the person, and also you can ask the person what they want to do. Okay, first, let's say we give one person's role here. Okay, let's say we ask a person which is a developer or a professional in science computer field. So if we ask them which one is better, they prefer CLI. Why? It is for the efficiency when we want to perform tasks or we want to test something. So for them, it is preferable to use CLI. But let's say for a casual user just like us, we just want to use it on our daily life. For us, we prefer GUI. So because it is actually more user friendly to us. Okay. And here is a statement where the GUI look fantastic in most cases because of the design itself, because it is very well designed. And here GUI also works well in many places, and it is easy for non-computing person to use. So let's say the person does not involve with the computer. So let's say we use developers. They want to develop program, right? So obviously they need to use code. They need to create program using coding. So basically, if they want to create program using coding, they probably or most likely to use CLI. But a casual user just like us, human being, maybe we just want to create, or we want to type a file or type a text in a Microsoft document, right? So easy for us to use and open the file itself instead of using the CLI. So better to use GUI. Okay, does this mean that the GUI is a king? Actually, no, because we can say GUI is excellent and suitable for many situations, but doesn't mean that it is very superior in all aspects, because it depends on the situation, right? So for developers, obviously they most likely think that the CLI is superior, but for us as human beings, we might say GUI is very super easy for us to understand. Okay, so now what is GUI? So basically, GUI, they let you to use a computer by clicking on the pictures and the buttons or icons instead of typing commands, and this is very easy for everyone to use. So let's say when we create create a program, or we type a syntax on we type command on a terminal, right? Sometimes we as a human being cannot understand what is the meaning of each of the command that we put inside. As said, if you are a developer, then you're gonna understand what does it mean by each command. But for other human beings, they might not understand what do we use, or what is the meaning of the command that we put inside the terminal. So that's why here GUI, it is easy for everyone to use, even though for the developer also easy for them, for human being also easy for them. So basically it is a different way to interact with the computer in a simple way, and they present a visual way, just like using windows, using icons, using button, by using mouse and the clicks only, and it can look really fantastic. It is actually very effective in many situations. Easy for us, we just click and then it opens a file. Just click delete a file. If we click and then they play a song. Okay, so why CLI? We use CLI in PDI. Okay, why? The reason is because it allows us to use or to create, to do programming and coding without distraction. And here we can focus on tasks without distraction. Okay, and it is actually very much used within the computing profession, which means commonly used by the programming professional. And then it is very different from general use, where we use CLI when we want to use it, when we want to be more technical when we use the computer. And also they provide understanding to what goes on under the GUI, which means help you to see what is happening behind the GUI itself. And here is why the CLI is very essential for this unit, because it is the fundamental basics of the programming. Okay, the simplicity of a GUI. Basically, GUI can be misleading through their simplicity and elegance. If you see, the simpler the GUI appear, the more complex the programming underneath is. If you look at the GUI, when we design the look of GUI, basically it can be seen as an art form, or basically just can be called as recreating the art, because we design on our own, right, what we want this GUI to look like, whether we want it to have a 3 buttons, 4 buttons, we want the user to input something, so we design on our own. So you can just technically think of it as creating an art. And then the logic that drives it is programming. This means that the functionality behind the GUI is driven by programming. So let's say when we want to create a GUI here and we want to have 3 buttons. So these 3 buttons, how we create it? Using the function inside the programming code. Okay, this is one of the image for basic of GUI. Here we have the close button, minimize button, open button. So this is just one basic GUI. Here you have the title. Inside we don't have anything. So let's say we have another one which is more it's not like a little bit advanced here, so which is look like something like apps. Okay, you have a button here to click, and then they inform you how many times you click that. So this is one of the GUI that you can create. And this one is more advanced of GUI. Basically just you can call it as the evolution of GUI. Here you have more button, you see here more button to click, and then you have a lot of icons, a lot of image, and actually easy for us to choose. Okay, this one more complex GUI, where what you can do here, this is might be one of the apps to create songs or to create audio. And if you look at this GUI, right, all of these things here, the buttons, the functions here are being created by using codes. And when we create codes of this, actually we take inputs from the user to ask the computer to perform the task. So now you can imagine how complex it is when you want to create the code for this GUI. Okay, now we're gonna go through look on the Java and GUI specifically. Okay, there are several frameworks that is available in Java. Okay, the first one is here. It's not AT, it is AWT. Okay, what does it mean by AWT? It is abstract window toolkit. Okay, basically abstract window toolkit is one of the original toolkit that widely used in Java, basically one of the older framework lah. And this is the might be one of the original one. Okay, and then the next one is swing. So basically swing is used in Java quite a lot, and it is actually built on top of AWT, and its components are fully written in Java. And also we have another one which is JavaFX. This one is a little newer, where we use more modern GUI toolkit for Java. Okay, so we have another framework also. We have JavaFX, AWT Swing, SWT, Pivot, SwingX, JGoodies, and we have a few of these, the framework. So you can see, look at this image, but the one that we're gonna focus in this topic is Swing. Okay, the framework Swing. Okay, now the first thing that we're gonna learn inside the Java Swing is the first one, JOptionPane. So what is JOptionPane? It is a class, just like when we have class scanner, right? So JOptionPane is the class that allows for user input. So we provide two simple ways for user input. The first one, using input dialog, where for input dialog we prompt this for a user. That means we ask user to we ask user to give input such as text and numbers. Okay, and also we have another one which is confirm dialog. So basically confirm dialog can be used to provide option like yes, no, or cancel option. This is for the user to choose from whether they want to choose yes, no, or cancel, and this is typically used for confirming action and decision. Okay, we have these three. Okay, let's say we go through the first example, which is example for JOptionPane. Here we have our code, so we want to use this package, and we have our class name. So make sure the file name should be the same as our class, and inside main function we declare name first, and then inside this name, using this name, what we're gonna do, we gonna put the name, the text that we want to put inside our GUI. Okay, we gonna use show input dialog. So what show input dialog do? We go back for this definition. We prompt the user for an input. So here we ask user, what is your name, and then here we put the name information, and here JOptionPane.question message. So here we send parameter, right? We have 1, 2, 3, say 1, 2, 3, 4 parameter, and then we use the function show message dialog, which is coming from the class JOptionPane. We have 2 parameter here, 1 and 2. Okay, now what does it mean? What is represented by these parameters? Okay, first we go through the first one for show input dialog. Here we use method overloading, and we can be called with different sets of parameter. Okay, the first parameter here, this one, what is it? It is the parent component, or we can call it as parent window or frame, basically the frame lah. And this one we just ignore for its simplicity. And then parameter 2 is for us to display the message that we want the user that we want to display to the user. Basically here we just use a string. So where is it? The second one, which is this one, what is your name? We display to the user what is your name. And then the third parameter is the title that we want to display in the title bar, which is name information here. Okay, the fourth parameter here is basically describe the types of, here describe the type of input dialog that is being displayed. Just like, let's say, for the plain text or password field or a combo box or for our selecting option. So here depends on this. So basically here is the question message. So we display, this one is the dialog box type is the question message. Okay, now let's say we run the code just now, right? So they're gonna display this one first, which is this one. The first one here is coming from the show input dialog. So here inside show input dialog, the first parameter is the parent window, right? So this is the window. And then you ask also what is your name, right? So this is the second parameter. And then inside we have name information is our third parameter, right? This one. Name information is the title of the box, dialog box. And then the last parameter is the J option pane question message, which is what we're gonna let user answer. The answer is it. And then here, this is your input dialog, right? So the second one we have J option pane dot show message dialog. So basically for show message dialog, what we want to do is we want to display hello and we want to display name. So what is this name? Is the answer that user input here. So that's why they're going to print hello first, and then they're going to print the name and the exclamation mark. Okay, so basically when you input here the name and you click OK, and then they will display show message dialog. Okay, now for show message dialog, we explain already how many parameters have. 2 parameter. What is the difference of the parameter? The first one is the parent or the frame, and the second one is what we want to show inside a message dialog. And does it use method overloading? Yes. Okay, the next example, which is J option pane. Here, if you look at here, we use J option pane show confirm dialog. And what is this? This is our parent. This is our parent component or parent window. And also here the message that we want to display. And here we're gonna check if user choose yes, then we're gonna put the value inside the variable is yes. And here whether it is true or false, right? So we're gonna display using show message dialog. So for show confirm dialog, what they do here, actually they're gonna use method overloading. And then the first one I also explained to you just now, they use parent component, and they're gonna, for the parameter 2, they have the message display to the user, usually string. This one, do we have parameter 3, parameter 4 and 5? Nope. Sorry. Okay, so this is the result. So we have the first one, which is show confirm dialog. So we ask this first, right? So let's say the user choose yes. So the value yes will go inside the variable is yes. So which is true if user choose yes. And then, so since is yes is true, then when we run show message dialog, first they're gonna print your response was, and then here they're gonna print based on the variable is yes. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the next one, which is JFrame and JLevel. So what is JFrame? JFrame is a class in Java Swing framework that we use to create windows in GUI application. The purpose of it is to create window where other GUI and object component to be placed or to be added. So let's say we want to add button or we want to add text. So that is when we're going to use JFrame. We have 4 possible constructor that is available to create the JFrame. But here we're just going to use the simplest constructor to start with. Okay, we go through the example. So here the first of all, here when we want to use JFrame, it is a class, right? So that means we need to declare it, just like when we use scanner. Yeah. And then we have the object name, and then we put here the title that we want to put inside our frame. And then we can set default close operation here. Make it perform the click the X and it will exit the program. And also we can set the size of the frame using set size here. And then we can set the background color, which is pink, and also we can make it visible. So when we here what they do is exit when we close. So let's say when we run this code, what's going to happen or what's going to appear is this box, because first of all we give a title, right? So this one, we give title programming design implementation, and here we have set default close operation. So let's say you close, right? You click on the red one here, they will exit. And then here the set size, they set the size of your frame here, which is 600 times with 400. And then here we also have set background color pink, right? So we see our background pink color, and then they make it visible, the frame. Okay, the next one, JLabel. So what is JLabel? JLabel is a component for us to display information, which is information here, which is the text or the image to the user. Okay, basically it is an uneditable component and cannot or does not receive input. Why? Because it is purely for displaying information. But here we can modify the content, and we have 6 constructor that we can use, and once we create, we can add to a JFrame object. Okay, let's go through an example code. Okay, first one, we have the class which is demo JLevel. Here first we want to create the JFrame, just now we learned, with the title programming design implementation. And then we set the close operation, and then we set the size for our frame. And now we want to create a JLabel, so we need to use, because this is also just like a class, right? So we create JLabel, label equal to JNewLabel. So here what we're going to add, we're going to use label to add a text. So here we put a label, and then for this object label, we're going to set the text equal to the legend Virgil van Dijk. So here they set this, and when we want to add this text here inside our frame, we can use frame add label, and we're gonna set it visible. So how it will show to you like this. Okay, this is the title, this is the function to close, and then this is the size, 600 times with 400. And here we don't set any background color for the frame, right? So that's why they just give you a default color. And now this is your label. Okay, the next one we have this one, a modified one where we add a icon. So inside your so inside your frame here, they're gonna add an icon. Okay, more option for the J level. Another one is probably the when we want to position when we want to position the text for or and the image that we display using J level. Okay, here we have different options. The first one, we can set horizontal text position where we want to make it center, and also here other than center you can use left and right, and you also can set in vertical text position whether you want to make it top, center, top or bottom. So here the font color and style also can be modified. Okay, next one you can use is flow layout for two or more components. When we working with multiple component on a swing, label, buttons and text field. So just now we just use one label, right? One text that we display. Sometimes in a frame, in a window, we want to put more than one label, more than one button, more than one text field. So that's why here we need to make sure that they are laid out properly, or they are setting out properly in the GUI itself, in the frame itself. So that's why we can use flow layout for two or more component. Okay, first of all I need to do is add the second level, and then we need to manage the layout. So basically flow layout is used for this lah. First we add into a row. Once for a new row, we can use this one, and then also you can use this one, or if you want to use multiple component, you can use this one. So how does it look in the Java code? Like this. Okay, you see we have the first label, which is the first label that we create, original one just now, the legend virtual one ditch, and then now we have another label which is called as level 2. We want to add Adrian is skipping. So here we can use flow layout to make it to set the flow layout itself. So when we run this code, can we see is, you can see it is actually at the center. We lay it at the center, and then we have two label here, which is the first one, the legend virtual done ditch, and also Adrian escaping. So this one is our first label, this one is our level 2. So this is how you use flow layout. Okay, now we can go through J text field, J button and J combo box. Okay, for J text field, what is it? It is actually a function that we can set the size of a J text field in Java. What they do, they control both the swing width and the height of the text field. Sorry if I write very slow. Okay, so what happened here, the user will enter text into the text field, and here the text can be any character type, can be text or number. And when the user enter the text, we're gonna let them to enter to click enter, or to press enter, or use the mouse click. So inside the GUI, this is how most text is entered. We just type, and then we see some text is typing, right? So this is how J text field can be used. And here we can use 4 possible constructor when we use J text field. And the question for us or for you guys, is it possible to set the J text field size? Yes. So let's say you want to set the text up until 20 character only, then you can use it. And how? You can just declare it like this: new J text field, open bracket 20. Just like when we before this we learn about let the user input a message, right? Input a name or input value. So let's say we ask user to input a name, so we set how many character that we want the user to input, let's say 50. Also the same for this method J text field, we can set the size for our J text field based on what we pass here, what number that we pass inside this constructor. Let's say 20, right? So that means we just let the user to input until 20 character only. Okay, let's go through the example. Basically here, if you look at here, we create a J text field, and here we don't have any limitation on the size for the J text field. So when we run, what we get here, actually you cannot see using a graphic here because because I'm using my tablet right now, so I cannot run the code for you. So basically this is the J text field, a box or a space where we let the user input. So here the user type one by one, hello and welcome to the PDI something. So this is J text field, is a space that user gonna type something, user gonna wrote something inside. Okay, the next one, J button. So what does J button do? Basically, J button represent a clickable button in the GUI. So when we click it, it performs a specific task. So let's say we click some button, and then we click, let's say we click and then they add a value. We click again, they add a value. We click again, they add a value. Or we click, they delete something. Or we click, they open something. So that is what J button do. So we use this J button to ask computer to do some tasks for us, to do specific tasks for us. So here we have 5 possible constructor which allow you to customize the appearance and behavior. Appearance and behavior. Okay, if you look at here, just like this example, we click. Okay, then one question that I want to ask you, is it possible to add an icon to a button? Yes, the answer is yes. Why? Because we can set an icon to be displayed alongside the text. Okay, so we go through an example. Okay, here we have J button in Java example. Okay, first we create this one is just a normal code here, and see at this part, J button dot button. So inside this J button, we want to type what text we want it to display. So here, display click me. Okay, so now if you look at this, we have our frame, right, which is the title, programming design and implementation. Here we also display inside our J label, which is our J label. Here we display grade demonstration, and we ask them to enter the name. This one label. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, here we also create a J text field where we let user to enter up until 15 character. After that, we create a button. So up until 15 character, which is this is the J text field, and then this is the J button click me. This is our label Okay, so the next one, J combo box. So inside J combo box, what they do is, J combo box here is a component that we combine a button or an editable field and a drop down list of selectable items. So let's say if you go through this image, right, basically the user can click on the buttons here to display, let's say this button, to display a list, to choose a list of item here, which is here you look at the grape, apple, mango and pear. Here are the items that we can choose. Okay, that's why here they allow a large of selection range without consuming the large amount of space. And what does it mean by without consuming large amount of space? They use the drop down list, right? So only one space is used to display all four selection item here. And to use J combo box, you have four possible constructor that you can use to create the J combo box. And we look at the example for J combo box in Java here. First of all, this one might be a bit long for you. Okay, but still we can go through one by one. First, we have the class for J combo box demo 1. And then we're gonna implement action listener, the class for action listener. Okay, first inside this we have the array which consists of string. Inside this we have choices 1, 2 and 3. And then we want to use combo box, and here we also want to create frame. So inside it we have a function or a method called, or a constructor called combo box demo. So what does it do is we create a list or a drop down list consists of choices here, which is 1, 2 and 3. Oh sorry, only 3. Yeah. Oh sorry. Okay, just a list like this. You have 1, 2 and then 3. Okay, and then the next one, inside you're gonna have the title here, and you have the disclose of operation option. You just exit when you click on exit, and the size will be 600 times with 400. And then we're gonna use action listener. What is it? We're gonna go through later. And then we're gonna add combo box. That means we're gonna add this list value. And the next one, we create the function or the method action perform. So what does it do? So basically when we choose, because we have 3 choice, right? So that means we have 1, 2 and 3. So let's say if user choose 1, click on 1 when they show the drop down list. So what they're going to do is they're going to print get selected item. They're going to print the value here, which is 1. And then let's say if user click 2, we're going to print 2. If user click 3, then we're going to click 3. And here inside our main function, we're going to call the combo box demo 1. So basically they're going to display, when we display this drop down list, what they do is they're going to display what the user choose. Okay, just like this. Let's say this is our frame, the window. Okay, this is the title, and here the size of the frame, which is 600 and times with 400. And here we use J combo box. So we have 3 options, 1, 2 and 3. So what does it do? When we click 1 inside our terminal, they will print 1. Let's say the next one you click 2, so they're gonna print 2. Let's say you click 1 again, so they're gonna print 1. This is inside Automino. If you click 3, then they're gonna print 3. Okay, so that is what they do. Okay, now we go through another example here. If you look at this, what does it do is basically inside your frame, they're going to create a frame here. And then you have a button. Inside this button, they're going to display how many times you click on the button. Okay, inside this button, they're going to put click me. Okay, first, they have J level, which is number of click. And then starting from 0, and then inside the button we have click me, and here they set the title as the counter app, and then action perform. So action perform here, basically what we gonna do when we choose the button here. So what they do is they're gonna display at the label here how many times you click. So originally it's 0, right? So let's say you click 1 time at the button, so they're gonna change into 1. Let's say you click 1 more time, they're gonna change into 2, and then 3, and then 4. Depends on how many clicks that you create. So it'll be just like this: the title and the button name, and also the counter. So it depends on how many times. So if you look at here, we have 6, right? So this means that the user already click on this button 6 times. Okay, that's it for this lecture. Okay, if you have any question, you can ask me. I think that's all for today. Thank you for listening to this video. Bye, and thank you.